18 days into the most consequential military campaign since World War II, and the Islamic Republic of Iran is beginning to crack from the inside. Its generals are gone, its paychecks are bouncing, its soldiers are refusing orders, and tonight we're getting word of something that could end this war faster than anyone thought possible: a defection inside the highest ranks. Make sure to stick them to the very end of this video, because I'm going to show you exactly how everything that's playing out right now shows one thing: the regime is in a full-scale collapse, and only one thing could possibly save them. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you make sense of the madness with breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. All right, so we are officially in day 18 of Operation Epic Fury, and there is a growing consensus that things are indeed playing out solidly in America and Israel's favor. I highlighted in an earlier video today the extraordinary admission coming from none other than Al Jazeera, which is the Qatari-financed broadcasting company that is unapologetically pro-Iranian, pro-political Islam. It has a very anti-Israel, anti-American track record, and even they are admitting that this war is being decisively won by American and Israeli forces. Remember, the key calculus here is that we are increasing while they are decreasing, right? Every hour they get weaker, every hour we get stronger, which means we get to pound them all the more severely. So this is a compounded asymmetry here. The weaker the regime's forces get through our relentless bombing campaign, the more relentless U.S. and Israeli forces can be. So as we talked about earlier, the leadership structure of the regime, they've been completely and absolutely decimated. We're talking the supreme leader, the IRGC commander, the defense minister, the chief of staff, the IRGC aerospace chief, the senior security advisor, the heads of Iran's nuclear weapons research organization. The IDF, in addition, confirmed 15 total senior leaders of the Axis of Resistance killed in the opening days of this war, including Hezbollah's leaders and Hamas commanders, effectively gutting the entire regional command architecture Tehran's built over 4 decades. By today, day 18, U.S. and Israeli forces have struck over 5,500 targets across Iran, leaving Khamenei's untested son Mojtaba as nominal successor. Reportedly, he's bunker-bound and possibly wounded, maybe even in a coma. He's presiding, ironically, over a headless, decentralized IRGC running on autopilot rather than strategic command. At the same time, the paramilitary outposts of the Basij, who are effectively the domestic police wing of the IRGC, they're being wiped out, both in terms of their checkpoints that are stationed throughout Tehran's streets and other Iranian cities, as well as their bases. And now we're beginning to see some diplomatic moves on the part of the regime. Their foreign minister over the weekend, he basically said that Iran would be willing to give up the 440 kilos of 60% enriched uranium that they were so stubborn about in the negotiations. But he said it's irrelevant now because it's all buried under rubble at bombed nuclear sites. It's totally inaccessible. Regardless, it was clearly a white flag. They're beginning to surrender. The question is only how much are they willing to surrender? Trump has called for unconditional surrender, it means they're totally defeated. They have to be completely defanged, and I don't see how the regime stays in place, since their 47-year rule was always predicated on the ability to project power both at home and abroad. And so it's no coincidence that we're getting word of mass defections among Revolutionary Guard troops. Iran International was reporting cracks inside Iran's own security forces, and the picture's pretty damning. Members of the Special Units Command just received notice this past Friday that salary payments were going to be delayed. That's for the 3rd time this year. And when the paychecks didn't come, some personnel reportedly just simply refused to show up to pro-government rallies and public deployments. It triggered disruptions in several major cities across the country. And it doesn't stop there. Retired military personnel and active duty Army members have now gone 2 straight months without pay. And now, behind the scenes, a serious blame game is basically breaking out. Senior commanders are pointing fingers directly at the IRGC, accusing the Revolutionary Guard of deliberately exploiting the financial crisis to starve the regular police and security forces of funds, all the while quietly paying themselves and their buddies. So the picture that's emerging is one of an Islamic republic under severe internal strain, underpaid, demoralized, and increasingly fractured between competing power centers, fighting over a shrinking pile of resources, even as U.S. and Israeli bombs continue to fall. And now we're getting word that there is indeed a pro-American plant inside the highest command leadership in the IRGC. There are reports of a pro-Western IRGC general already in relationship with the CIA and Basij who could step up and lead an internal revolution at the moment of maximum IRGC weakness. Here's Doron Kempel, former deputy commander of Israel's Sayeret Matkal and CEO of Bond International.
This strategy of a revolution would mean, A, we need to make sure that we demolish all the military infrastructure. All along, we're preparing a friendly general who's probably already in relationship with the Mossad or the CIA. And at the right time, when we have demolished the military infrastructure, and when we feel that the IRGC has been weakened sufficiently, this general basically steps up and leads the uprising. I don't have inside information. I don't know where we stand relative to that step, but it's probably a matter of a few weeks.
But first, gang, imagine this. 30 years of work, 30 years of saving, 30 years of sacrifice. Then 2 years before retirement, the market tanks, just like that. Everything you built, gone. Right before the finish line, right? I remember it happened to my grandmother. The market tanked and she saw like half her savings wiped out. And here's the truth nobody wants to think about. Anything can change overnight. Now, you've been led to believe you're safe, sitting in your paper assets, right? But look around you. Look at what's happening right now. War with Iran escalating. Oil prices surging. Global markets are reacting. And your retirement is sitting there fully exposed, tied to every bit of it. The wealthy aren't sitting in paper. The educated aren't. Central banks aren't. So why are you? More and more Americans are waking up to something most people never find out. You can move your IRA or 401k into physical gold outside the market. No taxes, no penalties. Done. That's exactly why I teamed up with Augusta Precious Metals. They showed me how it all works, and they've helped thousands of Americans understand how to protect part of their retirement with real physical gold. So here's what you need to do right now. Go to turleybuysgold.com or text Turley to 35052. That's 35052, and get Augusta's free gold guide. They'll show you exactly how it works. Clear, straightforward, every question answered. That's turleybuysgold.com or text Turley to 35052. Gang, 30 years of work shouldn't ride on one market cycle. Protect what you've built. Get the guide today. The director of Radio Farda, Mehdi Parpanchi, has a very good piece out today entitled, "What Looks Like Resilience in Iran is Actually Its Collapse Plan." And what he notes here is that everyone watching the war against the Iranian regime is really noticing the same things, right? State television is still broadcasting. Basij and IRGC units are still on the streets, barely. Mojtaba Khamenei has been installed as some kind of successor. No major elite split has erupted explicitly. Shops still have basic goods, and the nationwide uprising many expected has not materialized. And so the conventional read for many, particularly in the legacy media, is, oh, Iran took a massive blow, but they're still holding on. Well, that reading is fundamentally wrong, and here's why. The Islamic Republic didn't just build a military. It actually built a doomsday architecture. And at the heart of that architecture, 10 regional IRGC headquarters, each commanding local brigades, battalions, and Basij units with near total autonomy. The explicit design was this: if Tehran's command structure gets destroyed, if they get decapitated, the regime doesn't freeze. It fragments, and it keeps fighting. Each piece keeps shooting, keeps repressing, keeps projecting order without waiting for instructions from the center. So this is the doctrine known as the mosaic defense. And here's the critical insight. The fact that it's activating right now is not evidence of strength. It's evidence that the regime has entered the exact collapse phase it prepared for. So when Iran still fires missiles after losing so many of its commanders, analysts say those launches don't prove strategic coordination. What they do is they prove the machine was built to outlive its commanders. The Doomsday system fires on autopilot, right? That's not resilience. That's a dead hand system doing what it was programmed to do. It's basically a death throes. So, for example, the Iranian foreign minister, when he was asked over the weekend, why on earth did Iran attack Oman, which is basically its ally, he admitted he had no good reason. There was no coherent explanation. And there wasn't, because it was the result of the system having collapsed. This is one of the reasons why major opposition figures like Reza Pahlavi have told the Iranian people explicitly, stay home, stock essentials, maintain nighttime chants, and wait for the decisive moment. The Iranian people remember 2019. They know what happens when you move too early, and it ain't pretty. So in many ways, the silence in terms of a mass uprising is patience, not surrender. Mojtaba Khamenei has not been seen in public since his father's death. His statements are read by presenters on state television. Whether he's wounded or in coma or whatever, as reports suggest, or simply just bunker-bound, the message to the Iranian elite is the same. The center is hiding, not holding. This is not a confident leadership transition. It is a survival transition, with a new leader constrained by decapitation risk and a badly degraded IRGC calling the shots around him. Hezbollah has been severely degraded, Hamas decimated, Iraqi militias are hesitant, the Houthis are largely posturing. Iran's axis of resistance, the entire regional architecture that gave Tehran deterrent depth for decades, no longer exists as a functioning network. What remains is a remnant. So the bottom line here is this: the regime doesn't need to win. Okay? This is the one silver lining for them. They just need to outlast Washington's political patience. Tehran's strategy was never to defeat the United States militarily. It was to keep shooting, keep repressing, keep projecting fragments of order long enough for American public opinion to shift, for allies to demand a ceasefire, for the political calculus in Washington to change. But what's so key in all of this is that what we're watching is not a regime demonstrating strength. It's a regime executing its collapse plan and betting that America won't stay the course long enough to finish the job. Unfortunately for them, everything right now suggests that they are absolutely and totally wrong. They've completely miscalculated. Trump is going to finish the job. And a new Middle East, based on the Abraham Accords and its vision of peace and prosperity, is only weeks away. Hey gang, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you're signed up for Patriot Alerts, my free daily newsletter and weekly wrap-up. Sign up below.